You are listening to WCJV Digital Broadcasting, Youngstown, New York.
If you're looking for essential oils, stop by and check out Essentially Tammy on Facebook. She is Young Living Essential Oils Independent Distributor. These 100% therapeutic-grade oils help support the body's natural functions. You can click on her website, posted on Essentially Tammy, that's T-A-M-I, to see the current deals and check out the benefits of oils such as frankincense, joy, valor, lemon, thieves, panaway, and many more. Email Jocotami, that's Jocatami, @yahoo.com, or call 352-239-8546. That's 352-239-8546. Hey, don't forget good old Amanda at Pacific West Bamboo. Pacific West Bamboo, 503-839-8126. You can reach her at demroots@oppermail.com. Pacific West Bamboo, your number one source for timber, construction, and craft-grade bamboo poles, plants, products, and more. They specialize in eco-friendly reclaimed wood products for the home and garden. They're located in Portland, Oregon, servicing the Northwest for over 10 years. They can be reached at 503-839-8126. That's 503-839-8126. Her Facebook page is Pacific West Bamboo. They can and do ship nationwide, and they're currently getting a new line of bamboo flooring, veneers, and laminates made from Guadawa bamboo, one of the world's strongest bamboos, grown and produced and manufactured in Central America using only economically and environmentally friendly practices and standards. Good old Mike Gray at infinityhomeplans.com. Check out Infinity Home Plans and Design Services, your resource for 3D and 2D draftsman services. They offer a multitude of products, including stock home plans, 2D digital drawings, 3D models, renderings, and more. That's infinityhomeplans.com. Hey, don't forget emailrevealer.com. That's my website, emailrevealer.com. And we offer all different kinds of services. Current place of employment locate. Let's say you're trying to locate where your ex-husband or your ex-wife is working so you can collect on child support. You contact us, we can locate their place of employment for you and help you collect on that child support. Let's say you think that your husband or your wife is cheating on you. Give us their email address and we can trace it back to online dating websites and dating services. So we have a multitude of services on emailrevealer.com. Hey, don't forget the New World Mexican Women. Okay, now just Google New World Mexican Women. You can find their book where they first describe their love letters to their men and their sons and their uncles and their brothers who have traveled from South America to North America to work as migrant workers. But the women down in this town there in Guerrero, Mexico, they want their men to come back. So they've written these beautiful love letters, and they've put them all in this beautiful coffee table book. First, the letters are written in Spanish, handwritten. You can see pictures of the people writing the books. And then it comes on after that, and it's typewritten in English. And then also, too, the second half of the book is teaching you how to make authentic Mexican jewelry from these New World Mexican women. You can find their book on Lulu.com. It's only $19, or you can download the digital edition for free. That's New World Mexican Women, and it's a two-part book where first part is the love letters, and the second part is the making the handmade jewelry, the authentic Mexican jewelry. But you can also contact them, too, as well, if you want to get a deal on wholesale jewelry from Mexico, from these women.
It's the Opperman Report. Join digital forensic investigator and PI Ed Opperman for an in-depth discussion of conspiracy theories, strategy of New World Order resistance, high-profile court cases in the news, and interviews with expert guests and authors on these topics and more. It's the Opperman Report with Ed Opperman.
Hey, welcome back to the Opperman Report Aftershow. I am your host, Private Investigator Ed Opperman. And don't forget, this Aftershow is brought to you by Audible.com. You go to audibletrial.com/Opperman Report. I know nobody does it. You know, what did it surprise me? Go to audibletrial.com/Opperman Report. Just go there, just to make me happy and shut me up. Now, we had to kind of rush into the show because Al Norman couldn't stay that long. And these were all last-minute guests I got for us tonight here to do this Wal-Mart show, because what we originally had planned was the show about the curse of the Oak Island, which is that treasure hunting thing going on off of Nova Scotia. And I thought we had author Lee Lamb scheduled for today. And she's a fascinating woman. She's coming on next week. Lee Lamb is her name, and she's written all these books about Oak Island. And fascinating story, because her parents were circus performers who then heard about this story, about this buried treasure on this Oak Island off of Nova Scotia, and they went there to live on this island to search for this treasure. And what happens is when you go digging down, water comes in, and there's all kind of tunnels and crazy stuff. It's a fascinating story, and there's an A&E TV show about it called The Curse of Oak Island. It's on right now. She's been on the show, and it's just when you start looking into this story, you get addicted to it, and you start want to hunt for treasure and stuff like that. So I may wind up on that island in a couple of months. Who knows? With my freaking life. But anyway, so we got that's coming on next week. Now, also coming up, we got huge announcements, okay, that I got to make tonight. It's going to take me some time. So, guys, we have Josh Brookshire on the line. We have Mike Gray on the line. So I'm going to ask you guys to sit tight for a second because we have so many big announcements we have to make. Coming up after that, in mid-December, we have Catherine McDonald, who's the wife of Jeffrey McDonald. Now, there's so many new developments in this Jeffrey McDonald case you're not going to believe. Eric Holder's involved. The Innocence Project's involved, Barry Scheck, all kinds of prosecutorial misconduct has been uncovered in this stuff. My mic's breaking up. So you're not going to believe all the stuff that's going on with that. Okay. Then there's going to be a People magazine cover story on Jeffrey McDonald. So then I'm going to do an interview with Jeffrey McDonald in prison, and Catherine McDonald is coming back on the show after that. So that's going to be a huge deal for us over here. Okay, a couple of other big announcements we have to make is that starting by next week, CJ Mars, Cindy Jean-Pierre, who owns CJ Mars Radio, has volunteered to take on the whole burden of producing this show. And she's gone out, she's invested in new software, new equipment. So she's going to be our engineer from now on. And she's going to be broadcasting not only on CJMarsRadio.com and 365 Live and her own internet radio station that she has now as well, but also, too, we're going to be simulcasting as soon as next week on Friday nights on an additional 4 stations live. So the live show, the main show, will be on 6 stations. Okay? Then on top of that, we're adding another station. Okay? We have an agreement with I don't want to say till we're actually on the air with them, but we have an agreement with another major station. Okay, that's going to have us on for the live portion of the show. So in 3 weeks, we'll be on 7 stations live Friday night for the 2-hour show. The after show will only be on CJ Mars Radio, and then if one of these other stations wants to start picking us up as well, we'll have them as well. But this is huge. So in a couple of weeks, we're going to be live on all this stuff. We'll be live on iHeart. We'll be live on Spreaker. We'll be live on awakeradio.us, awakeradio.uk, 1800 Radio, Shazaz Radio, CJ Mars Radio, Hazy Radio, and another one we're going to be adding on as well. So we're going to be reaching more people live on Friday nights than we ever have before in the history of this show. Probably like 5 or 6 times more than we've ever reached. So this is a huge deal for me. I'm very excited about it, and I can't wait to hear all the emails I'm going to get on Saturday mornings about how to get the archives. Okay, because that's what I have to look forward to. Okay, so we have that going on. Now, big exciting news. Thomas Sheridan, who's from Ireland, has been one of our most popular guests on this show that we've ever had. Okay, he's right up there with Dave McGowan, with Jim Rothstein, with all these big guys that we have on. And Thomas Sheridan has agreed to start doing a show on CJMarsRadio.com. And he's also going to be doing his show, simulcasting, on most of the same stations that I'm simulcasted on. Okay? So this guy has a huge following. He has a huge audience. And he's going to be bringing all his, I got to fix my mic. Okay. Let's take a little, break here. A couple of seconds. And I'm going to try and reset this mic. And we get this thing going, because what I'm hearing is that my mic is breaking up real bad. So let me see if I can get this going. Okay. Okay, you can kind of hear me now, right? No, you can't. Is that the right one? Might not be. Nope. Let's see here. Okay. Is that better, guys? Can you hear me?
I'm good. I hear you.
Hear me now?
Red 5 standing by. That was a Star Wars joke.
Yeah. Nothing? I can't hear anything.
I hear you. You're live.
Okay, you guys got me now, right? Okay, all right. Yeah, sorry about that. And I don't know what the hell happened. Well, what was I talking about? What's the last thing you guys heard?
Thomas Sheridan. Big
Okay.
announcements.
Big announcement. Thomas Sheridan. Okay, fine. Okay. Thomas Sheridan is one of my most popular guests. Okay. And he's going to start doing a show on CJ Mars Radio, I think on Wednesday nights. And also, too, he's going to be simulcasting on most of the stations that I'm simulcasting on as well. Now, this is a guy that has a huge following, so he's going to be bringing all those people to our stations. So this is big news for us here. Now, also, too, even bigger than that is good old Josh Brookshire. Josh, you there?
Yeah, I'm here, man. Can you hear me?
Yeah, man. You want to make your announcement?
Okay. I've been mulling this over because last weekend, as I told you, I went up to Washington, D.C. to play that record label show. And even though the show ended at 10 p.m., me and my little brother, we decided to swing by the Washington Monument and the Pentagon and do that circle real quick because it was close to the venue. And then we hit a highway where it was 1.25 mile where they tried to merge 4 lanes of traffic into 1 lane. So we were stuck in that for an hour and 50 minutes, got through it, and then I hit another one that was about an hour long. So we didn't get back till 6 a.m. in the morning. And then when I woke up the next day at like 3 in the afternoon on Sunday, I got this email. And it was you, Ed, and you said that people enjoy me ranting and raving and all that, which is very humbling because sometimes I feel like maybe people don't want to hear the same callers all the time, or, maybe I distract by calling in so much. But Ed, you asked me if I'd want to do a show. So I will accept that. And I guess that's my announcement is I would like to give a pitch for the show. I'd like to do a pre-recorded set, if that's okay, because I'm 27 years old. I work full time and I make music full time. And I think I could do something really interesting and make great radio and dissect culture and politics in a very personal way and encourage people to create and come together. I have many friends who book shows, play in bands. We can teach people how to book shows in their own houses and create venues, and how to start a band, how to go on tour. But more than that, we can look into like what art really is and what magic really is. And all these stories in the news, it's very interesting to me. I'm a big true crime buff like you, Ed, but I come at it from an artistic angle. So if I could do like an hour or two of breaking it down in a pre-recorded format, I can make the audio really beautiful. I can edit it so it sounds great over the radio. I want to like almost throw it back to the William Cooper Mystery Babylon broadcast and actually read some very esoteric tomes so people get the information from a source, if you dig what I'm saying. So I'd be glad to join the staff. We'll talk about what date and all that. It'll probably take me a month or so, and then from then on out, I'd be happy to join you guys. I'll still be calling in, but I can create some very good avant-garde, like great radio for people, I believe. Thank you, Ed, for the opportunity, and thanks everybody. If you like hearing me talk, then let's do this, and I appreciate it. It really is humbling to me. Thank you, Ed. God bless, man.
Hey, you know what they say in the chat room? They says, only if you stop saying sorry, man. Okay.
Oh, God. Yeah, I'll edit that out. That's the good thing about, in my opinion, for right now, doing a pre-recorded show, because I can edit out everything and just, I was thinking about also taking it on the fly, because we have that, the murder case unfolding in this town, and I could just take my laptop and interview people on the street, and then just present it as like a fully unedited, like full spectrum analysis of events or what they mean and things like that. You dig what I'm saying, Ed?
Yeah, I do. And I'll tell you something. Everyone loves your calls, okay? Otherwise I wouldn't take them. I'll be honest with you. Yeah, no. Listen, there's a lot of people that are discouraged from calling in. There's people I've blocked on Skype. I don't want their calls, But everyone loves your calls, man. And I get comments all the time because I see all the comments that come in through YouTube, the old shows. And I get comments all day long on Facebook and stuff like that, and everybody loves you, man. So I'm really excited to get this show in there. Do you have any idea what you might want to call it?
I was thinking it's down between two sources, because I also have an archival live bootleg project called In the Raw Archives. It's at intherawarchives.bandcamp.com. So I was thinking maybe In the Raw Radio, or I was also thinking about taking it back, because my little brother had his own DIY house show space, and it was called the Incognito Dojo, which I always thought was a cool name. So either In the Raw Radio or Enter the Dojo. I don't know. I'll tweak it. We'll figure it out.
No, I got you, man.
I don't claim to be an expert on anything. I love to dig into these things. I just have, I feel like, not in a weird, bad way, but I feel like my third eye is pretty much well open to this artistic narrative and the way things are set up in the world of pop culture. So, I don't know, man. Thank you for the opportunity, brother.
No, definitely not. You're a creative guy. You're an artist. Now, do you plan on doing interviews? You're going to interview people, or are you just going to do research and give reports?
I was thinking a little bit of everything. If it's, in my opinion, like I come from the tradition of like punk rock and do-it-yourself attitude. So I have many friends I can just go and talk to and ask them to tell their stories. I have friends who were the first hip-hop artists to play in Slovenia. You know what I'm saying? Like people that have been all through Eastern Europe and things like that. I went to high school with dudes that are playing in Coachella and on David Letterman. You know what I'm saying? I went to East Carolina University with a young lady who's now like very high in content making for MSNBC. Just people I know, and these are people that are raised in the punk scene, and you would never hear about it. So I'm interested in getting other people's real life perspectives, because I think that's the best aspect of your show, Ed, is it's not pie in the sky like dreaming, you know, and making stuff up just to get content, but getting these real important stories out there. To me, the archival nature of radio is the biggest, most beautiful thing about it, because we can pass this on to our children.
Oh,
you know, I have a niece and you have a daughter, and you're, like I was saying the last time, NPR was offering 2 hours of radio for like a $3,000 donation just to produce 2 minutes of content for like the local WFTDD Wake Forest Demon Deacons affiliate. And I was thinking about like how much you've already taught like Victoria, and you know, it isn't propaganda, it's actual content, and that's what I appreciate. So we can pass this forward, you know?
Yeah, dude, I so much agree with you about the archival nature, because I go back and I listen to the old Mae Brussels tapes, you know, the old on YouTube, you know, and when you go back and listen to this stuff over and over again, you see how much stuff she was warning us about has come true. And it's so important, you know, and to get this stuff on record, get it down on tape, get it recorded, you know, and get it out there, man, you know? Go ahead, man.
Well,
you know,
oh, sorry for speaking over you, Ed. Continue, man.
well, I was just going to say, I never heard of Mae Brussels till a few months ago. I never even knew she existed, and I've been in the conspiracy world for over 10 years now, you know?
Right, yeah, and you're right. And there's a reason for that, you know?
Exactly, yeah. I mean, imagine if we would have had the internet, you know, when she was around, or when the first people were talking, maybe we would, you know, we'd be a lot further along.
Well, let me tell you something, man. With the Mae Brussels, because back in those days, okay, I found out about Mae Brussels from Lynn Samuels from WBAI, because she subscribed to the tapes, these little cassette tapes, you know. So she would loan me the tape, and I'd have to bring it back the next day. You know, because you know, you'd have to bring it right back. You know, so you'd have to run home. And I'm talking about, this is back, you know, I was a kid, so I would take the subway and the ferry, you know, and then take it on the train to Staten Island, and then walk to my house, my parents' house, and where I lived. You know, like sweating, you know, in the street in New York City's, you know, in the hot, muggy, you know, nights, you know, and like coming back at 3 o'clock in the morning. Sometimes you'd miss the last ferry, you know, you'd have to wait till 5 o'clock in the morning to get home. You know, I'd be the only guy out there on the subway station, you know, waiting for my train to come, you know, and get home with this tape, you know, and I'd have to bring it back the next day. So I'd start playing it at 5 in the morning, you know, and try, you know, you couldn't take notes or whatever, you know, and then it was like gold, you know, back in those days, forget it. So now it's at your fingertips, man. It's on YouTube. You can get this stuff, you know, and it seems like, yeah.
Well, it's not just that. The radio broadcasts, I feel like a lot of the going back to Bill Cooper, his biggest strength was actually reading from the books out loud. So you can have the information there instead of you have to go to the library, or they don't have it, or some internet has misquoted it or something like that. I feel like that aspect of not really like doing audiobooks, but highlighting specific passages and dwelling on them and breaking down what the nitty-gritty of, in my opinion, what is the New World Order, however new that is supposed to be a couple hundred years ago. But these things need to be recorded and easily accessible. That's a weapon. The archival nature is a weapon, you know? And
yeah.
Ed, me and you, we've had our differences on Che Guevara, and I'll probably do a show about that, you know? But the big thing was take the weapons of your oppressors and use it against them. That is so totally right on. If people knew how to use this media, it wouldn't, monarch mind control wouldn't work, you know? We could, like, work with the strong mind, you know, and build this up. I know I've said, you know, a million times, forgive me. Right. Go ahead, Ed. Sorry. I just got off work. I've been working since 9 in the morning, bro.
No, I hear you, man. Listen, I just found out at 3 o'clock in the morning that my guest wasn't coming on. So I got up at 4 in the morning, started trying to book a guest for tonight's show. And thank God we got Al Norman is a big shot. You know, you guys got to know that this guy was fighting Wal-Mart 20 years ago. But I do want to say to you, Josh, okay, about Che Guevara, is that, listen, man, we can't, we don't have any, I know, listen, you may not have the stomach for firing squads, okay? And I may not have the stomach for firing squads, okay? Although as I get older, I have more of a stomach for it, from what I've seen. But the thing is, I cannot tell another person's who's fought in a revolution, that I'm not going to judge their revolution. That's their revolution, And the people of Cuba, man, and still to this day they support Castro, they support Che. So I cannot, what am I going to say to them?
Yeah, it sort of does become like the classist, like Western issue, but I don't look at it that way because it's just my ideals at the end are different ideals than them. I respect them for the revolution they carried out because it was a legitimate struggle against like a fascist, very corrupt system. But I honestly, it's just the mechanized nature of the firing squad. I'm more like a Mikhail Bakunin type dude, like bring the heads of businesses out into the middle of the street, and that's maybe a harsh sentiment, but that's the anarchist part. And I know you said like, well, I don't like anarchists, but we all have our different.
I was an anarchist. I just,
the point is we're all revolutionaries.
Yes.
We all understand that the system is messed up and we all want equality for everybody. I'm a total egalitarian right down the line. So
yeah, listen, as long as we're all...
That's why I call into your show, Ed, because you do support social justice, and I do enjoy, like, having a good talk with you, man.
No, me too, and we'll do a show about Che and all that stuff, too, because, listen, I gotta agree with you. I've read some of that stuff, and I know what you're talking about, and he became very cold-hearted and very methodical and almost satisfied in what he was doing. But I gotta tell you, man, the older I get, and the more stuff that I put up with, and forces that come against me on a day-to-day basis that hit home in my life, I have much less patience, or like sympathy, like a weak-heartedness. I feel much less weak-hearted in what I believe we need to do here to accomplish this. Because you look at these people with this Wal-Mart story we did tonight, and I talked to a guy like Al Norman, who's a fighter from the start, 20 years ago, and he tries to say, well, I don't think we're going to beat Wal-Mart, but we need to, have a good living wage for the workers and stuff like that. No, we need to put them in jail. We need to jail these people, and we got to have the balls to do it. And if we don't, we're done.
I can totally agree with that. It's just you have to figure out a way where it's palatable. It can be sold in an artistic measure. I don't want to say why, but
maybe there should be. I'm sorry.
No, Mike. Go ahead, bro.
Maybe there should be a movement where we build gallows on roads, off of roads, where every time there's a freeway, you build these hanging gallows.
Well, you know what? You joke around about that, but those guys down in Guerrera, that's what they were doing. They went to the toll booths and they would put up ropes, stop the cars, and say, okay, everybody here, you're donating to our cause. Okay? Because we're all in the same boat and we're all fighting against the same people. Reach into your pockets and come up with some money so we can fight.
Right.
But that's a whole different thing though, because they don't have access to the same tools on the same leverage of the tools. They have media, but the responsibility for things like this isn't really to call for gallows or for like road stoppages. If anything, you can use the gallows thing as a methodological like art piece to symbolize class dissatisfaction. But you have to realize if you're going to hang someone from a billboard, their head would just be decapitated because of the weight of their body. Like, that would never work. And plus, it's totally impractical. If you're going to have public executions, it should just be like,
well, I'm not saying working gallows. I'm just, I'm just saying symbolic,
Yeah. That's the power there. The power is in the art and the symbolism. But you have to, like, legitimately try as hard as you can, as we're doing, and the shows that you're doing, Ed, and you too, Mike, man, by supporting with your business, like, all this stuff. You got to wake people up, because any like harsh revolutionary violent movement at this time would be like immediately crushed and condemned. Like,
Well, no, wait. Let me interrupt you, because we had Celestino Mota on the show from Guerrero. And one thing he said to me was, I said, we have to support these people, we have to help these people. And he said, I don't know if you guys caught this, but he says, you know what, Ed, maybe we'll be coming up to help you,
Yeah.
Right. And when you look down there right now, man, okay, these guys are taking over airports, they're taking over cities, they're burning down government buildings, but they got hundreds of thousands of people in the streets shutting things down over there. So I say, bring in this immigration. I bring them all in. Bring them up here, man, because they got the balls to do what we're not doing, okay? We need to resist what's going on up here right now. And if these guys got the balls to do it and come up here and do it for us, bring them up here. Let's get them up here right now. Who's laughing at me, man?
No, I think that's awesome. I mean, I'm just saying that's the network I'm going to be on. I'm excited.
Oh, Mike Bluehair?
Yeah, man, that's me.
All right, bro, man. So listen, we got Mike Bluehair on the show right now, okay, from Film the Police Portland. And he's also going to be doing a show on CJ Mars Radio, okay? Okay, brother, tell us what you got in mind, what you want to do, and what your goal is and what your vision is here.
Well, my goal is to foment nonviolent revolution through showing people that they are the resistance, and that's going to be the title of the show. It's going to be my friend Joe Freedom and myself, who's right over my shoulder, and he's going to come on in a minute and speak with you.
Okay.
But it's going to be a sort of a an anti-police state sort of show. I mean, my idea is to chip away at the legitimacy of state power and the state's monopoly on the use of force, because that's what policing is in this country. People have this psychological idea in their heads that culturally, it's a systemic cultural problem we have in this country, that the police are the ultimate authority and the ultimate decider as to what goes on, and it's just getting worse and worse. So that's it. I mean, it's going to be called You Are the Resistance, and I'm going to chip away and erode that psychological animus that the state feels like it has, that it can continue to meter out this violence, and I'm tired of it.
Dude, I'm tired of it too. But I got to tell you something, man. I feel good. I feel good when I hear Mike Bluehair's voice, and I feel good when I hear Josh Brookshire, and I feel good when I hear Mike Ray. When I hear you guys out there, I feel good. And to know that we're bringing your guys' voices out onto this station here, and Cindy Jean-Pierre has been so kind to do this for us, man, and allow us to come on here and support us, and all the work and the money that's coming out of their pockets to do this for us. But I just feel so good, man.
It's a labor of love,
Yeah, but when I look to the right and I look to the left and I see Josh and I see Mike and the other Mike, I feel good, And it feels good to have you guys here on the station here, man. And God bless you, man. And let's do this. Let's do it.
I'd like to put my co-host on, Mr. Joe Freedom, and give a brief bio of who he is so that your listeners can get an idea of what the show's going to be like. So, hey, Joe.
Hey, how you doing? How you doing, Ed?
Hey, man. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you, too, man. Mikey Bluehair here has been telling me a little about what you're doing, and I just got really super excited about it. I got involved in the Occupy movement, learned how to start doing some live streaming, and that's how I hooked up with Mikey Bluehair, and we started networking together and following cops around and watching what was going on. And and picking up on a lot of just really super disgusting things that, for me personally, I was really super surprised that our country had slipped into the toilet so far. And I decided that I was just going to break away from what career I had at the time, tear away from this systemic problem that we're all seem to be trapped in, and start trying to teach people how they can do it too.
I hear you, man. You guys need some better mics, though, over there. Okay, you're going to have to work on that. You're going to have to get some good headsets. So how'd you guys hook up?
Is this a little better?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, great. Yeah, but anyway, I got involved with Mikey Blue Hair a few years back, and the guy really motivated me when I saw what he was doing and how he was doing it. And I just sat back and I started watching that guy and then emulating what he was doing. And we've been picking up a lot of stuff on video, and we've got to start educating our country. Mainstream media sure isn't doing it, so we've got to get the truth out there in the airwaves somehow.
No, I hear you, man. Okay, so now you're out there too in the street filming as well?
Yeah, I do. I go to mostly protests and things like that, but I follow the cops around when they start harassing the homeless, the way the criminalization of homeless and the poor has been going on in this country. I've been following in those issues as well.
Hey, so what do you guys think is behind that? Now what would their problem be? Why the hell do they want to attack these homeless people with such a vengeance that they don't even want to feed homeless people? You can't even live on the street anymore.
Yeah.
What is that?
It just surprises the heck out of me. I've started reading up on some of the stuff that our city here in Portland was doing, and they actually published a piece in one of the article in which the mayor stated that the homeless and were a threat. We're looked upon as a threat to development, business development. Yeah, I mean, not in my backyard. It's too ugly for me, And what they don't understand is that, ever since these illegal foreclosures took place, 7 million new homeless people have been hitting streets in this country. So it's going to get ugly. It's an ugly thing. So, it's just insane what they're doing.
Yeah, it's interesting because they create the homeless. They create
they created this. Yeah, absolutely. But now the banks don't want to shell out the money to clean up their mess. Interesting, huh?
Do you know that if all these supermarkets and restaurants were required to give their scraps to like soup kitchens, if the city made soup kitchens available, or places where the homeless can go and, get a decent meal and a shower and whatever?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There would be more than enough food to feed them.
Oh, absolutely. I really kind of like what the thing that they've been doing in Utah, where they've just been taking empty apartments and homes and putting homeless in it. And they found out that the city is saving over $10,000 a year per person that they would normally be spending on just regular resources and programs that actually have done absolutely no good. Yeah. So it's pretty insane out there, man. And, we're just digging in to them and trying to keep them straight. And we've been teaching a lot of the homeless folks through some of the Know Your Rights trainings and things like that. And they're starting to stand up a little bit now. And, of course, when you've beaten down some people for so long, that's what they know. And so now we're just trying to empower them again.
Okay, what do you guys got planned? Are you guys working on anything with the Wal-Mart protests on Black Friday?
Here, let me give you the mic, and he might be able to work on that a little bit. Here, hold on.
Okay. And Josh and Mike, too.
We took you off a speaker so that you guys could hear us a little bit better because I figured it'd be easier for us to listen. So I don't even know what's going on. So what?
Well, you know what? Wait, Mike. You guys can't go on speaker. It just was that for your show you want to get some good headsets. But for tonight,
okay.
That'll be fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just wanted to. You could hear when I was talking though.
Oh
right?
yeah, no, you guys are great. Yeah.
All right, cool. So, what was on your mind? Why did he hand the phone over to me?
The Walmart Black Friday. What do you think, man? You guys involved in that? You working on?
I'm not involved in any of the protests this year, but in 2012 I went to one where we went out to a mall. It was a bunch of Occupy folks planned on going in and disrupting. Honestly, we printed up a bunch of fake flyers with a bunch of products on, product labels on there, and they explain that basically you're supporting third world labor and the destruction of this country being eaten out from the inside out by filling the country up full of goods that aren't produced here, that are overpriced, and they don't pay their workers anything. I did that in 2012, but I haven't done anything in 2013 or 2014 in regards to that. But yeah, I have some pretty strong opinions about Walmart. When I was a very small child, I can remember a Walmart wanting to come into my hometown. You know, I'm from a little place in rural North Carolina, and they promised only to sell American-made products. That's one of the selling points that Walmart used to become so prolific in almost every town. You know, and what they actually did was fill the country up full of goods from other places that were manufactured by people that can never afford to use any of the stuff. They filled the country up full of goods that were manufactured by people that could never afford to buy the stuff themselves, and undercut all the mom and pops. Since Walmart sells a little bit of everything, they can hedge their bets by offering whatever products that are being sold in an area at a lower price. Since the corporation is so huge, they can use that diversification of products that they sell as a means to destroy their competition. And then later, when the mom and pop stores in that town are all gone, they just raise the prices back up. So it's a win-win. I mean, these guys are like the Borg. I mean, they're the Borg of corporation. You know, I mean, that they're just like those robots out of Star Trek. You know, it's disgusting, really.
Did you see that?
Yo,
hey man,
where are you from in North Carolina, bro?
Oh yeah, I'm from Moore County. I was born in Pinehurst, North Carolina, and I grew up in Carthage and Southern Pines. It's
really?
Famous for golf courses, yeah.
Oh, so like you're a little bit west of like Fayetteville, right?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, we call it Vietnam.
Dude, my mom went to Methodist College. I know all about Vietnam and Grove Street, all that, man, dude.
Oh, nice.
No, not nice at all, man. I hate Fayetteville. I'm gonna be honest with you. Besides Durham, it's probably my least favorite city in this.
Well, yeah. Well, I like the rural South. I mean, like I'm really comfortable, isolated. You know, I grew up in a town that has about 20,000 people. You know, like a really small town. So
what made you move to Portland?
Well, let's see. My mom, when I was in junior high, moved out to California, and then I got introduced to Mr. Culture Shock. Because it's a different world out on this coast, I can tell you that much.
Yeah, that's for sure.
It's culturally it's an alien culture, really.
Who's Mr. Culture Shock?
I don't know, man.
It's just a metaphor, you know. I mean, I was just in shock of how things are so different, you know.
It is really strange because North Carolina is weird. Like, I'm from Yadkin County near Winston-Salem, but I was raised near the beach, Morehead City, Emerald Isle, Atlantic Beach, like that area, like on the southern tip, the Outer Banks.
Yeah, close to Cape Hatteras in that area.
Oh yeah, man, you know Cape Hatteras, that's what's up. But like, North Carolina is really weird. I've had so many friends that I've got a dude, his name's Matthew Bryson, who runs a bike shop. He's from North Carolina. He's out your way in Portland. I have friends all over this entire country, but the problem is like they all seem to be running away from something. In my opinion, I kind of like it. It's weird. Like, North Carolina is, like, on the verge of becoming, like, a very progressive, open-minded state. We have the demographic that's worthy of it, but there's an older population that just has an absolute throttle on the electorate over here. Like, there's some really, like that Tom Tillis guy and Pat McCrory, they're absolutely backwards. They're ruining our education system here in North Carolina. It's very sickening, you know?
You know, I haven't, honestly, I'm in my 40s now. I'm 41, and I haven't paid attention to the local politics and what's going on in my home state for, even almost a decade now. So I don't even really know what's going on there, honestly.
Oh, well, I mean, we're a mix of, it's like a progressive underbelly, right? But you still have the upper electorate, which are it's just the good old boys system over here. So,
okay, I got you.
Yeah, we had like this very business oriented, like the mayor.
It was very right wing when I was there when I was a kid.
Yeah, and they're trying to bring fracking in over here. It's absolute chaos right now. I'm hoping within like a half a generation, like it'll completely change for the better, but it's a good way to view America because you can see the problems. Like, I can see the absolute problems and the racism around me in this state, but I can see the future, and it's such we can do so much better. It's a beautiful, bright future if we just want to work towards it. You dig?
Oh, sure. Yeah. I mean, the only reason that you can't buy people in cages like chickens in town squares anymore in America is because of activists. You know, it's people that like to try to dream for a better world and actually agitate for that better world, and that they're willing to make sacrifices to do that. I mean, that's why there's any kind of quote unquote progressive change on a societal level. You know, I might offend somebody by saying this, but soldiers dying on battlefields don't do it for people's civil rights. They do it so Halliburton and Kellogg, Brown and Root, and the military-industrial complex and all their associated corporate brethren can further their economic warfare, their class warfare on the rest of the world. I mean, activists are the ones, soldiers didn't run the Underground Railroad. Soldiers didn't do the civil rights movement. That was done by people, people on the ground facing against their own government, the labor movement wasn't ran by soldiers. It was just regular citizens. So, yeah, I'm totally on that page that, we all need to do something to become the resistance. I mean, what I tell people is, what can we do? Or I get irritated by people going, well, I'm going to wait for a revolution to start, or I'm going to wait for things to change, and then I'm going to get on board with it. People need to make life changes. If you don't like something a corporation is doing, don't give them your money. How about that for an idea? Do a little research, go online, make a list of your top 10, most hated corporations that you think are the scummiest, and then research a little bit. It's going to take a little time, and then don't buy their stuff. That's the most direct form of democracy I've ever heard of and conceived of, is what people do with their money. People just don't understand the power of it.
Yeah, that would be a great website. Don'tbuytheirstuff.com, I'm
yes,
serious, man, and who's the enemy? Point out the enemy to us and stop giving them our money.
I mean,
stop paying them, Stop paying the people.
I have a list in my head of corporations that I absolutely won't give them any of my money.
Yeah. And what do you guys think about let me throw this out there. What do you think about unions, though, man? Do you think that the labor unions nowadays are really any benefit to the workers? Because really, all they're doing is taking money out of their pocket. They're all in bed with the government, and with the company owners anyway.
Yeah, I mean, the days of the Wobblies, advocating for the people are long and gone. I mean, they're basically a toothless dog that has one hand in the pocket of the worker and the other hand in the pocket of the government, which is, by proxy, two hands in the pockets of the workers. So I really don't have much faith in unions in the 21st century, contemporary America at this point. Being someone who was heavily involved in the Occupy movement, I can tell you that as I watched the movement progress from the inside out, I noticed quite a few outside influences trying to inculcate are trying to control the meme for their own ends. And it was some of those groups were unions.
Yeah.
I mean, you had right-wing groups and left-wing groups and chicken wing groups, like everybody and their grandmother trying to say, oh, I'm a prominent voice in Occupy, and this is where I think it should go. And a lot of those people were like, you know, SEIU or any number of other, you know, service, the service industry, are not the service industry, but yeah, those are the service industry guys. And then you had the healthcare workers unions and stuff. And it was just kind of, it was disheartening to watch that happen. But no, I mean, if you want a toothless guard dog that's going to eat too much food and crap all over your floor, I suppose you should, you know, join a union.
What do you think, Josh? Josh fell off because his phone dies out. Josh, you there? Okay.
Yeah, I'm here. I'm just listening, man. I'm just thinking about how I wish I was as eloquent.
Oh, no. You definitely are. But what do you think, though, man? Do you think there's any bed for us with the unions? Is any hope? Because I got to tell you something. When I was looking around for people to talk about this whole Wal-Mart thing, the only ones out there, you know, that seem to have their act together were these big unions to counter Walmart. But, you know, it's like from the frying pan into the fire. You know, what do you think, Josh?
Well, with the union thing, see, I feel like America has really sold its industry in a very bad clockwise position. From the top of the shelf has gone textiles and agrarian production into a service industry being the primary thing. And when it gets to be a service industry, there isn't as much physical or menial labor where there's going to be extreme like bodily harm on there. So you don't have the photographic evidence of children working in coal mines or grown men working on like a port and having their arms knocked off by a bad load, the stevedores and things like that. So it's very hard to get it out there. It's just as wicked and it's just as terrible because when I was 14 years old, I signed one of those underage you can work early type things to work answering phones at a Domino's Pizza. You know, I've worked in almost every like big name like restaurant you can think of. It's a job to me, but I understand the structure, and the structure's set up where the wicked end up on top and the wicked control the entire production and what products are sold. The thing is about this, the Walmart show you did, Ed, I was listening to that while I was getting off work. It's been a long time since I've shopped at Walmart, let me tell you. And the point that your first guest made before he got off, that dollar stores are on the rise or discount warehouses. We have a few of those here in North Carolina. You got south of the border, and you got the JB wholesale warehouses by the side of the highway where you can buy, you know, anything you want, but it's extremely cheap, but you have to buy it in bulk. The Sam's Club and the Walmart hybrid collective is just totally messed up and for profit. I agree with everything everyone's saying. I would not even cry a single tear tomorrow if Walmart was totally destroyed. I make a Walmart a Target. I have a friend who has a line on his rap song called that. You dig? All right, go ahead, Ed, man.
Well, you know, a store like Winco, you know, is employee owned. It's owned by the employees. Okay. And the prices are way cheaper than Walmart. You can go in there and save a ton of money. There's no membership fees like Sam's Club, you know, which is the one that's owned by Sam's Club. Sam's Club is owned by Walmart, so we can't even trust them. But Costco is supposed to be like the good guys, you know, but even Winco's cheaper than them. Employee owned, which is the model we need to go after, guys. But the thing is that Walmart is so predatory. It is such a predator out there against us in every possible way conceivable you could imagine. You know, that if you go in there and spend your money, they're against you. If you have a business and they're competing against you, they're destroying you. They're taking our tax money. They're taking tax breaks. They don't pay their own employees. There is nothing good about that company. And if every one of us, I know, Mike Gray, I'm sure, I know I go shopping there once in a while. I'm sure you do too, and even Anna and Cindy. We all have to stop, but not just stop shopping there. We have to get out there and stand in front of them and stop people from shopping there. It's the least we could do. It's just like the not being allowed to sit at the soda fountain, back in the 60s. It's wrong, and we got to stand up and do something.
Yeah. Walmart, I find disturbing on many levels. I mean, could I go through a few little points that, stick in my craw the most?
Yeah, do your craw.
Sure, man. Let me get this out of here. I've been swallowing pebbles all morning, and now it's time to chew it up and get it out, man.
Do it, bro.
So if you actually look at what's going on when you walk inside of Walmart, it's creepy in a police state sort of way. I mean, if you look at the use of force continuum that Walmart has disseminated out through its employees, its security employees, it's very creepy. Walmart security are very violent. They will put hands on people in a heartbeat. They detain people in a very aggressive way. It's like a corporate policy. And one of the reasons why Walmart security are so aggressive is because of the vastness of their labor pool of lawyers. They can afford to, thug you around inside their stores. You look up on the ceiling inside Walmart, and it looks like a bad Orwellian sci-fi movie where you have all these dome cameras over you. So you have private militarized goons that will leap on you, that have, carte blanche to do what they want because they have this massive team of lawyers, and you have this complete surveillance state above you. It's just that just creeps me out to no end. And the psychology of Black Friday, it's not just a Walmart thing, but have you ever noticed that most of these stampede videos that you see on the news, they're all in the Walmart parking lot where people are killing each other literally over 25% reduction or 35% reduction on a flat screen TV? People are somehow more likely to be reduced to little animals competing over, a deal and murdering each other in the middle of this surveillance state. By the way, it's a surveillance state to where, these goon private cops that have these armies of lawyers just kind of sit back and watch the sheeple, I call them, kill each other. Black Friday's the one day where they just sit back and just, I guess they sit up in their little control room and giggle while people kill each other over their TV. Hey,
Mike.
Sick. Yeah.
Do you know the first time that happened, that they could trace that back to when that happened?
I am not sure when the first Black Friday stampede happened. That'd be really fun to Google and figure out.
I kind of remember when they remember Cabbage Patch Dolls?
Oh yeah, right.
Yeah, I remember Cabbage Patch Kids. Yeah.
I remember when I was a kid. Yeah, I remember when I was a kid watching the news, and they had parents beating each other up, literally taking a Cabbage Patch doll and hitting another parent over the head to get the doll.
Wow.
Hey, you guys want to hear an interesting story? You're talking about these store security guards, Yeah. And how they sit on these surveillance cameras. Now, back in 2003, I went to a convention and I saw I took a seminar about enhancing these surveillance videos. And the story was about these two guys who went to shop at Target. And it turns out that Target has their whole forensic lab, okay, that they have to go after employee theft and track down employee theft and to go after shoplifters and all this kind of stuff. So these two guys go shopping in a Target. And the security guy's watching them on the video camera, and he says, you know what? I don't like those guys. I don't like the way they look. He sends a sales girl over to them and says, hey, fill out an application for a credit card, and you get a free gift. So the guy says, oh, well, we're not going to pass the credit check because we got no credit. He says, well, no, just fill it out. You're going to get a free gift no matter what, whether you pass or not. So they fill out their information on this credit card application. They take it back to the security guard back in the booth. He runs them for warrants. He finds that one of these guys has a warrant. He calls up the local cops, right? Now these guys, and the cop says, okay, well, we'll come down. The guy got a warrant. We'll come down and pick him up. Okay. So the guys, they're being followed around. They start getting nervous. They say, what the hell's going on? Okay, well, no, don't leave the store. Don't leave the store because you're going to get a free gift. So finally these two guys say, fuck. They say, forget this, man. We don't want it. Let's get out of here. Because something's weird's going on. They leave the store. As they're leaving to get to their car to walk, they committed no crime in this store whatsoever. They're going out to their car. The undercover detectives show up to arrest them, the police. And these guys were trying to get away, and they ran over one of these cops. Now, the whole issue with the enhancing the video was, did this cop show his badge before he got run over, or didn't he? Or were these guys just in fear for their life and trying to get out of here? These guys, right now, are in prison for life.
Oh, my God.
For killing this, for running over a cop in plain clothes after they're being chased out of this store, because all they did was go shopping one day. The warrant was some stupid warrant anyway. It was one of those stupid traffic warrants. We didn't pay your tickets, you know? And now these guys are in prison for life for murdering a cop, and they had to go and enhance the video and stuff like that and prove this cop was showing his badge for nothing. Because
Wait.
Yeah, go ahead.
Wait, but they hit the guy enough to kill him, though, right?
No, they were trying to get away in their car, and the cop jumped in front of the car holding his badge, and they ran over him.
Oh, man, that's one of those last-second moments.
Right. Plus, they were so freaked out anyway, they ran out of the store.
Well, that's the thing, man. It only takes one, D-bag to just go, oh, well, I'm going to call the cops. Look at these people. You know,
right.
Dude, I've known so many, idiot narcs. You know what I'm saying?
But just think with us, man. That's a story that I stumbled on. I stumbled on that story.
You know that if you call Pizza Hut and you order a pizza and give your name and pay with a credit card, they get more money running your name through the database. And if it comes up red, you get the cops to your house instead of a pizza.
Oh, I didn't know about that.
And then they get a fee. They get a finder's fee or something.
Yeah, it's well, yes, I forgot the name of that program, but there's a big list of corporations that do that. There's a national database and a system that the feds actually subsidized to allow. They have Domino's and other places where you mail order stuff have a system that tracks your location so that they can make it. Originally, it was under the auspices of, to make sure that you're not a crank caller. But yeah, there's a federal program for that. I forgot the name of it, but you're absolutely right.
Ed, you want to hear something?
That database is called the Pizza Break database, and what they do, and that's what it's called. No, because what it is they
Pizza Break, huh?
Yeah, because what happens is what happens is when you move right from your house and you move to a new neighborhood, the first thing you do that night is you order a pizza. After you've been moving all your furniture all day long, no one cooks. They order a pizza. They want to find out where the new pizza place is, right? So that's why when you move, that's the first place that you give your new phone number and your new address and your name to. So they get that information. They can sell that to the database. Then I subscribe to all those databases. When I do a phone break, that's where the first line of defense is. You do those little cheapo databases. So Pizza Hut and those guys, they sell that information to there. Now, I wasn't aware of this till now that they also had another program where they were running through warrants as well.
Yes. The business has to sign on it independently, but yeah, they're doing that.
Wow, I was not aware of that, no.
Yeah,
well, on one point, go ahead, man. I'm sorry, brother.
Oh, it's okay. I was just being sarcastic. Go ahead.
It's cool, man. It doesn't surprise me with a big chain like Domino's, but I can tell you as a person that used to work from 5 p.m. to 5 a.m. delivering food, I've had more than a handful of people that I know and have hung out with that have had a pistol stuck in their face. They're, besides taxi drivers, they are one of the highest at risk, populations for murder on the job. And I'll tell you, my friend, I've been in quite a few very sketchy situations. And if I do this show, man, I can tell you guys, some things that I've seen as a delivery person late at night in a moderately big city. You see a lot of weird stuff in this world. it doesn't surprise me at this point. It's been years since I've worked in a job like that they're collecting all these things, because you will run into the weirdest people late at night when you work any sort of food delivery drive or job. You run into the weirdest people. I just wanted to throw that in there just to contextualize the whole thing. It is totally Orwellian, but one of those things could have probably saved one of my friends from a very bad situation. You dig?
Yeah, I drove a cab for a while, and forget it. I can tell you stories. I can run off the road, man. They shot my windows out and stuff like that. But we're at the 8 o'clock hour, so let's take a little break here, take a commercial break, and we'll come right back after this with our new hosts, Josh Brookshire and Mike Bluehair and Johnny Freedom. What's his name? Mike?
It's Joe Freedom.
Joe
I had
Freedom.
my phone muted.
Okay, that's okay. Joe Freedom. So we're going to have Mike Bluehair and Joe Freedom going to be co-hosting a show. Josh Brookshire is going to be co-hosting a show. We're going to have a Thomas Sheridan, which is a fascinating guy, one of my most popular guests, and he's going to be coming on doing a show as well, too. So we're going to be getting a lot of new traffic coming to all these stations that we're on here. And starting next week, we're going to be on simulcasting on 6 stations live, and then either next week or the week after, we're going to be adding a 7th station, which is a really, really big station. So nothing but growth here. I see momentum, at least in what we're doing. But don't forget, guys, in order to get all this done, we need your support and we need your donations. We got if you go to the blog, the Opperman Report, I got a little donate button on there. We need sponsors like Mike Gray from InfinityHomePlans.com, who sponsor what we're doing and support what we're doing financially here. Cause that's really the backbone of what we need. And if we could just get a couple of big sponsors, man, a couple of cool people with big businesses that want to sponsor us, we could be on AM, FM. There's packages you can get into and buy, and and get into, where we could be reaching a huge amount of people very shortly. There's no doubt that the show's popular, and what we're all doing here. We're all on here tonight. This is a popular show right now tonight because we're all on here. And we're in the top 5 on TalkStream Live every single week. So we can get up there, make a name for ourselves, and leverage this out here where we can actually make a difference and have a platform. But we need your support. We need your donations. And we need sponsors who want to advertise on the show. So we'll be right back after this break. Good old CJ is going to play some commercials. Take us away, Calgon.
You are listening to WCJV Digital Broadcasting, Youngstown, New York.
If you're looking for essential oils, stop by and check out Essentially Tammy on Facebook. She is Young Living Essential Oils Independent Distributor. These 100% therapeutic grade oils help support the body's natural functions. You can click on her website posted on Essentially Tammy, that's T-A-M-I, to see the current deals and check out the benefits of oils such as frankincense, joy, valor, lemon, thieves, panaway, and many more. Email Jocotami, that's Jocatami @yahoo.com, or call 352-239-8546. That's 352-239-8546. Hey, don't forget good old Amanda at Pacific West Bamboo. Pacific West Bamboo, 503-839-8126. You can reach her at demroots@oppermail.com. Pacific West Bamboo, your number one source for timber, construction, and craft-grade bamboo poles, plants, products, and more. They specialize in eco-friendly reclaimed wood products for the home and garden. They're located in Portland, Oregon, servicing the Northwest for over 10 years. They can be reached at 503-839-8126. That's 503-839-8126. Her Facebook page is Pacific West Bamboo. They can and do ship nationwide, and they're currently getting a new line of bamboo flooring, veneers, and laminates made from Guadawa bamboo, one of the world's strongest bamboos, grown and produced and manufactured in Central America using only economically and environmentally friendly practices and standards. Good old Mike Gray at infinityhomeplans.com. Check out Infinity Home Plans and Design Services, your resource for 3D and 2D draftsman services. They offer a multitude of products, including stock home plans, 2D digital drawings, 3D models, renderings, and more. That's infinityhomeplans.com. Hey, don't forget emailrevealer.com. That's my website, emailrevealer.com. And we offer all different kinds of services. Current place of employment locate. Let's say you're trying to locate where your ex-husband or your ex-wife is working so you can collect on child support. You contact us, we can locate their place of employment for you and help you collect on that child support. Let's say you think that your husband or your wife is cheating on you. Give us their email address and we can trace it back to online dating websites and dating services. So we have a multitude of services on emailrevealer.com. Hey, don't forget the New World Mexican Women. Okay, now just Google New World Mexican Women. You can find their book where they first describe their love letters to their men and their sons and their uncles and their brothers who have traveled from South America to North America to work as migrant workers. But the women down in this town there in Guerrero, Mexico, they want their men to come back. So they've written these beautiful love letters, and they've put them all in this beautiful coffee table book. First, the letters are written in Spanish, handwritten. You can see pictures of the people writing the books. And then it comes on after that, and it's typewritten in English. And then also, too, the second half of the book is teaching you how to make authentic Mexican jewelry from these New World Mexican women. You can find their book on lulu.com. It's only $19, or you can download the digital edition for free. That's New World Mexican Women, and it's a two-part book where first part is the love letters, and the second part is the making the handmade jewelry, the authentic Mexican jewelry. But you can also contact them, too, as well, if you want to get a deal on wholesale jewelry from Mexico, from these women.
Welcome back to the Opperman Report After Show. I am your host, Private Investigator Ed Opperman. And, hey, don't forget, go to audible.com. Go to audibletrial.com/Opperman Report. You can sign up for free. You get a free audio book. You can get free audio books every day, I think all day long, for a month. You get them for free. It can't be more free. Okay, so sign up there and you help support the station. You also help support the station too, guys. When you go to the blog and you visit the ads, that'll help us out too. And when you go to the archives, the Opperman Report archives on YouTube, and you don't click skip ad if you watch the ads throughout that, that helps us all keep going here, But what we really need is sponsors. We need donations to help keep this fight going. One thing I wanted to get into tonight before, because it's topical, is the whole Ferguson thing going on right now. It's just so, I'm 52 years old, and when I grew up in the 70s, at a time when the cops were tough, and the cops would confront us and kick our butts, we'd have to fight back, But now, it seems like that doesn't happen anymore. And when we were kids in Staten Island, I was talking to Bob Levy, the Reverend Bob Levy from the Howard Stern show. I was a guest on his show, and he's from Staten Island. I'm from Staten Island. And we were talking about how we used to have these keg parties out in the woods because we were both from the same neighborhood. I didn't know him then, but we were talking about reminiscing about our high school years. And we were saying about how, we would have these parties in the woods and the cops would come, and sometimes, we'd fight back and we'd fight them off. And sometimes, they just chase us away. Depends on what the numbers were. But nowadays, that does not go on anymore. And you got an 18-year-old kid down there in Ferguson, Missouri, who's walking down the street. Okay, maybe he shoplifted, maybe he didn't know, who knows what. But somehow this unarmed kid winds up shot. Then after that, the cops leave his body out there in the street for 4.5 hours. Then after that, the people come out, they put up a memorial in the street. The cops run over it. Then after that, the people stand up in the street. They want to have a vigil with candlelights. The cops show up with dogs and they chase them away. And then after that, the people come back. They have more forces. They have bigger protests. The cops come back with flashbang grenades and machine guns and laser pointers and tanks and all this stuff like this. And none of that is being questioned. All that's being questioned in this case is, did this cop who shot an unarmed kid supposedly with his hands up. There's forensic evidence. There's coroner's reports and stuff like that say that this kid had his hands up, and when he was shot through his arms, and then he was bent over, falling down. The cop shot him in the head, all this kind of stuff like that. There's really good evidence of this. Okay, that this cop should at least be fired, at least be arrested, but none of this other stuff is even being slightly objected to. Cops running over memorials, cops showing up at police stalks saying, bring it on, taunting the crowd, pointing machine guns at women and children with baby carriages, showing up with tanks to confront peaceful protesters. None of that is even slightly being objected to. Now, where are we today, guys, okay, that we're allowing that to go on?
We're in 1960 what? That's where we are. You understand what I'm saying? Let me tell you, Ed, that in my opinion, that convenience store footage is absolutely BS. All you have to do is check the discrepancies in the footwear. Ask yourself why they left a child, basically, a young man lie in the street for hours without even a sheet to cover him up. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
This was a direct provocation from the very start. St. Louis is an absolute, in my opinion, besides the Blues, I'm a hockey fan. Besides that, I don't know anything about that city besides Nelly and the arches that they have there. To say this, and they've been hyping it up all week, and they've been moving the police in there. I think this has been controlled from the very day. I feel so horrible that Michael Brown was shot.
Hey, Josh, you know what I heard today? That in Ferguson, Missouri.
I'll tell you something, Ed.
No, real quick.
Right,
in Ferguson, Missouri, the average household has 3 arrest warrants for traffic tickets.
The average household?
Yeah. The average is every household in Ferguson, Missouri has 3 arrest warrants for traffic tickets.
Well, I would like to speak to that, Ed.
Go ahead.
Well, here's the thing is that Ferguson, as everyone that's been following the story very well knows, has a mostly black, mostly black population and like a 98, 99% white police force. But not only that, since you don't know a lot about the area, let's give you a little demographics here. Ferguson is a small suburb of St. Louis, and you have 6 or 8 small suburbs that all have overlapping jurisdictions, meaning cops from different municipalities are issuing tickets to these people constantly. So, last year, 2/3 of the population of Ferguson worth of citizens arrest warrants were issued. So, and it's because of all these municipalities are all competing for revenue, because the people in Ferguson, they go to the neighboring communities and get jobs, and then they commute back from work, and they get these frivolous profiling on the roads, driving while black tickets, and then they just start stacking up. And what that does to a community is it solidifies in the minds of everyone who lives in that community that they're being harassed by law enforcement. And then when a white cop, an overly aggressive cop, there's a video of Darren Wilson right now snatching a camera away from somebody standing on their porch, and he's running up. Personally, as a white person, Darren Wilson and his ilk there in Ferguson is an embarrassment to white people world over. And it really, shame on them. They look like, a bunch of, bleached monkeys running around with SWAT gear on. That's what I think of them. And I was there on the ground, and I was appalled. Just the sense of entitlement that these quote unquote alpha male pit bull looking guys walking around with their assault rifles, it just gave me the sick feeling. It really did. But that's basically what's going on in Ferguson. And I'm sorry, people are saying, oh, it's not about race.
Oh no, it's about race.
You go there on the ground and you look and you see it on their faces. These cops just it's just horrifying. And when you said it's 1960, what? I mean, absolutely. I watched them carrying dogs into crowd control situations. I mean, okay, so there's a grease fire in the kitchen, and I'm going to throw kerosene on it. Yeah, I mean, it's just, okay, that makes absolutely no sense to bring a dog into a crowd control situation. I saw it multiple times. They're just trying to use it as a fear and intimidation tactic. And it's just creepy, you know? I mean...
Another thing, too, is 100% of the school district is white.
Right.
Not even the janitor. You know, they couldn't even forget a teacher, a coach, you know, not even the maintenance department. You got one black guy.
Right.
In a city that's 80% black or 60% black.
Mm-hmm.
What does that tell the kids?
That tells the kids that white people are the authority.
Yeah.
And that's what it does to them psychologically. I mean, I'll take you one further. If you look at the most commonly accepted depiction of Christ, it's a white guy with dirty blonde hair and blue eyes. You know, it's like really light brown hair. You think about that psychological reinforcement. So all your school teachers and administrators are white people. You know, you got white Jesus in school, and all your cops are white, and all your politicians are white. I mean, that's got to mess with a black person's psychology. You know, it's got to. I mean, if you think about all these quote unquote prominent positions of power that you're making your associations as a child as to what authority is, and it's disturbing. It's really disturbing when you start to look at the psychology and the mechanisms of cultural institutional racism. It's just appalling, really.
Yeah, it really is, man.
Not only that, but in my opinion, all right, I think there's been this whole subcultural zeitgeist of the darkness of America rising up in the last couple of years, and it's scary because it's like that Carl Jung idea of like the subconscious, and it's formed into all these malignant growths, like the Tea Party and all these like faux idiots that were hired to just create these agent provocateur situations. So they didn't get what they want when Trayvon Martin got killed. And the more I look into it, man, that situation should have never happened on either side. You dig what I'm saying? It's just this culture leads to violence in one form or the other, and that's the problem. The culture is saturated, systematic violence, and we're raised that way. At least us as males, it doesn't matter what race we belong to, we're raised that way, that we react. You dig? So with the Ferguson thing, man, with Cornel West being arrested, I would never arrest Cornel West. I love Cornel West, and Talib Kweli getting spin media provocateur saying that he freaked out when he was just correcting a CNN reporter. The way that they're portraying different races, and it's just very harsh. And I stand on the side, man, of the people that have the foot on their heads. I do not support the police force in this situation. F that, man. That isn't where I stand. And it's just all so programmed. And we're all waiting for something bad to happen, and that just says a lot about the American subconscious, in my opinion. I just wanted to put that out there, man. We're all waiting for something bad to happen.
Yeah, like it's gonna happen from the people that are so like somehow the bad is gonna happen from the people that are out there with the machine guns pointed at them, from the people that are having the tear gas thrown at them. Right? You know, like, oh my God, you know, are we kidding? Yeah.
No, not from the protesters. I just fear that the militarization, they've had an entire week to put this police formation. They've been telling people to stay home from their school. even if there isn't a peaceful protest, dude, I fear something bad might happen in my gut. You know, something new might spark off. I just have that feeling in the pit of my stomach, and I pray for those people because I'm on their side. You understand what I mean? And I've been watching those live streams.
Yeah.
I saw all that with the green Predator eyesight gun.
Oh yeah, that's Revolutionary Z's live stream. That's a really great outfit, Revolutionary Z. I mean, if you want to watch the best live stream of what's going to go on in Ferguson, like go to their Ustream channel, Revolutionary Z. It's really good, really high quality stuff. A very nice, clean stream that looks like TV. It's nice.
Have you guys noticed that people are more outraged over an event that they didn't see when there's more events that have been caught on tape, like that black guy that got choked out and killed in
Staten Island?
I mean, why aren't they, now that's a legitimate reason to go ape crap over. Or the mother with the 4 kids that in New Mexico she got shot at by the cops as she took off.
Sure. There's easily half a dozen people a week that get shot by police in America. Some of them don't even get reported on the news.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thing is that the dialogue that the American people have been used to being interfaced with by the mainstream media, it's this right versus left thing. America loves a nice race-baiting conversation to argue over. I mean, if the elites that actually own our media, and I might be going off into the realm of conspiracy theory, but this is what I believe, can keep us arguing over race and class, and distracting us with ideas of that, we'll never start paying attention to the real enemy. And in my opinion, that's the people that want to stay being the haves and make sure the have-nots don't have anything. That's what that's about. That's why you had Anderson Cooper down there. That's why you had, you had Fox News vehemently supporting the cops' perspective, and you had all the left-wing media outlets, supporting the anti-militarization side. I mean, because it's divisive. It's in line with that divisive argument that we've had pounded into our subconscious since the time that we were babies, and they'll probably try to figure out some way of putting speakers in our graves going, hey, don't you want to still argue a little bit over right and left? I know you're a corpse, but come on. I mean, vote Democrat or vote Republican. I mean, that's what I think that's about.
Yeah, I hear you, man. As a matter of fact, tonight I was watching something on I think it was CNN, and they were talking about how the protesters were provoking the cops by sitting down in the street and then standing up and inching forward toward the police. And then they show these cops rushing in and tackling everybody in sight. And then the police had to respond. It's a video of cops totally out of control, and they try to make it sound like it's just unbelievable.
Isn't it though? One of the things I learned from being part of the Occupy movement is how systematic the mainstream media will support the perspective of militarization. I mean, that's where I learned how to be interviewed by the mainstream media. If you're a small outlet or a small person or something really traumatic happens to your family, I mean, listen to what I'm saying right now. I mean, you should write it down and put it on your refrigerator. If you're interviewed by the media, you need to have your husband, your wife, your sister, or just, somebody you just grab out of the crowd, turn their cell phone on and film the entire interview. Because even if they're claiming to be in support of you, they're going to give you a little 10-second blurb, if that, and then they're going to have somebody voice over it, and then they're going to characterize it in a way that's going to be in support of the system. I mean, that's just the way the mainstream rolls, and it's right, left, or center. And you have to have someone else stand there and make a recording of the entire interview and then upload that to YouTube. It's just sick the way the corporate news toes the line of militarism, and it's because they know what side of the toast the butter's on. Mainstream media is going by the way of the dodo as far as what people are going to read off of. They're starving for money, and they'll whore themselves out to whomever gives them a little change out of their pocket.
Yeah, that's so true. And what I found too is it's like a lot of people think it's like a big conspiracy, like they're all in on this big plan to keep us all in secret. But the people who get graduated through the media are gullible, dumb people, who believe what they're being fed. No, it's true, man. Because
you can't tell me that Anderson Cooper isn't on the
No, Anderson Cooper, yeah, he's in.
And Rachel Maddow.
Sure.
I mean, they're all they're on the in on some level. They know what's going on.
You mean Anderson Vanderbilt?
Yeah, right.
Yeah. I mean,
but I'm talking about guys who have been on this show, okay? Guys who I know, that we've had on as guests. And then they're telling me later on, when I get on an airplane, I look around to see if there's any Muslim people on the airplane. They're going to hijack me, and these are people, high up in court TV and stuff like that, but they're just gullible and they believe that. They believe it.
The sucker's born every minute.
Yeah. And when they're grooming people to get into those spots, not Anderson Cooper, and not like Mike Wallace and those guys who were at the Kennedy assassination, you know what I mean? Not like the guys like that, like Dan Rather, that were there when it all happened, but the goofballs, that they groom up into these celebrity positions. I think they find gullible people and they put them there.
That's an interesting perspective. I can really see that, Sometimes it takes a true mind to be an auteur, but anyone can be an actor. There are very few actors, in my opinion, I consider to be true artists.
Yeah.
It's more like dolls, That's why they switch around and move from cause to cause and director to director. They're sort of like playthings. But with the media, the whole thing with the media is it's designed to keep you down. So of course they have a bunch of idiots up there. That's why we're doing this. I ain't getting paid nothing, man. I need to take a shower. You dig what I'm saying?
Me too, man. Yeah, I'm tired.
But I don't know. I'm glad we're doing this, man, because it needs to be done. The archival nature of radio is the real true importance to me. Document the police. Everything must be documented,
I have a question for you, Ed. So how many people are actually going to be listening to the show that I'm on? I have no idea how big this network is. Like, what's up with it?
That's a good question. It seems like with my daughter's show, it's about 20,000 people. Yeah, but
wow, that's a lot. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
And then if you can build on that too, by simulcasting on different shows, and also to YouTube. You're gonna put your archives up on your YouTube channel. You can do that easy, and so then you double all that. Yeah. So
I'll just turn on the camera and live stream it. That way I'm getting the maximum amount of material produced out there on the interweb. I'll just set a live stream camera up in the corner of the room while I'm doing my show.
Yeah. You get all, man, forget it. You get a ton of response, and you'll see. It's not all that much fun. You get pretty much the same.
I love my haters. I'm weird that way. I enjoy them. Like, I don't know why I kind of measure that the amount of resistance as a gauge of success. I mean, maybe I'm crazy. But,
no, I know what you mean, but I'm talking about the same questions over and over and over again.
Geez.
Yeah, and that can get kind of draining. It's the same thing. If you want the archives, you go to the Opperman Report YouTube channel. You go to the Spreaker channel, Opperman Report, Spreaker, and the iHeartRadio. You can find all the, and they go up as quick as we can. There's nothing we can do about it, but they go up, it's all volunteer. Everybody, no one here is getting paid, so the archives go up as fast as we can. So if you're listening to this show right now, and you enjoy the show, and you want to know when the archives are coming up and where to find them, I'm telling you right now, you don't need to contact me. There's no different answer, man.
Leave that alone.
Yeah, I know. There's no different answer. And, oh, dude, you gotta love because they can't. They don't want to contact me through the Opperman Report Gmail. They want to find my secret email addresses. So they gotta find every other way to contact me through Facebook and Twitter, whatever. Just we'll answer you, man. Just get to us at OppermanReport@gmail.com.
Well, I'm hogging. I'm going to put Mr. Joe Freedom on the chat with you guys for the last half
great.
hour.
Well, yeah, you guys can you can put the speakerphone on. That'll be fine.
Half hour. It was really good speaking with you guys. I can't wait to be on the show.
All right, bro.
All right.
Thank you very much, man.
Yeah, man.
Hey, Mr. Freedom, how are you?
Oh, I'm doing really well. I've been enjoying listening to what's going on. Yeah.
So what do you think about what's going on down in Ferguson?
In Ferguson?
Yeah.
I have a tendency to agree with quite a bit with Mike. We've been kind of watching some of these things, and we have a few friends that we've been watching some of their streams down there. It looks like with this verdict, I can tell that there's a lot of places that are gearing up for potential problems, potential riots, and it's a powder keg, for me, from what I'm seeing. It makes me a little bit nervous and, anxious at the same time. We push and push to try to crack the backs of some of these people to the police to finally get a foothold on some of the things that they do and how they do it. And finally, we're starting to see a little bit of headway here. I felt good when I had read a small article on the net about how a judge had signed an order stating that it was completely legal for people to live stream and to photograph and to video. We'll see. We'll see how that works when the live streams start getting shoved in their faces and they start, being put under public scrutiny. It has a lot of potential to do some good things. The only part that worries me is some of these factions of people like the KKK thing, and the anonymous battle that's kind of going back and forth now. I found out that one of the anonymous videos was taken off the YouTube for bullying, and it was a response to basically, death threats by the KKK. So that kind of showed me that, if you respond to a death threat, you get called the bully. So, there's a lot of things that are just flipped over. And so I'm hoping to see a lot of things flip back, and people start to really examine themselves in how it is that they've been perceiving, this whole issue of race. It's really interesting. I grew up at the time when they began integrating the school system, and
how old are you?
I'm 58 years old.
Okay, yeah, I'm 53. Okay, 52.
Right, yeah. And so, back then it was a very confusing time. I appear to be of Hispanic descent. I'm half Filipino and half American.
Okay.
But at the time, I was the darkest kid in the school. So when these things and fights and arguments started breaking out, I just kind of stood against the wall trying to figure out, where do I fit into this? So, this has been a long time coming in my generation.
Is this coming down tomorrow, the decision?
Pardon me?
The decision for the Ferguson thing, is it coming down tomorrow?
I think, yeah. Mike, do you know if the decision on Ferguson is coming down tomorrow? It's soon.
They don't want to tell anybody because they don't want the protesters to organize, so that they're being very vague about exactly when they're going to release it. But intuition-wise, in the next few days.
Yeah. That's what the feeling I'm getting, is that we're going to hear about it in the next few days. Yeah, like Mike was saying, that they don't want to give protesters and things too much of a amount of time to really organize real tight action.
Because if it happens tomorrow, tomorrow's the JFK assassination.
No, I'm pretty sure that it's not going to happen over the weekend. That they're not deliberating over the weekend. That they stop on Friday night at 5:00, and they start again Monday. And they would probably come back on a Monday anyway, because you don't want to come back over a weekend when no one's working the next day, because then people are going to be drinking and go out in the street.
Right. So, right. Yeah. You want to. Yeah.
You want to do it like a Monday morning,
Yeah.
People at work. That's just how it is, Yeah. Oh, boy.
I was always wondering about marches and things like that took place on weekends, because, you really want to get the maximum amount of exposure. So you do it on a weekday, so it just makes sense.
Yeah. Well, no matter what, it's not going to be good for us, no matter what happens out of this.
Yeah. It's going to really challenge a lot of people. I know that, and it's been a long time coming for something like this to really break. In the civil rights movement, I saw a lot of these things happening. Of course, being so young, I didn't really have a really good understanding, a good grasp of what it was that was really happening, how all this, came to be. But over the years, I've slowly been able to pick up on what's really kind of going on. Yeah.
So where'd you grow up?
Right here in Portland, Oregon.
Okay.
I've stayed here. I've moved around a little bit, but not too much. But I've always been planted right here in Portland, Oregon. I love the city. It's really close to my heart, and so becoming an activist and that was an easy shift for me to do, to make. Yeah. The police state is this whole thing. I remember almost 20 years ago, I was kind of that guy noticing this, and I would be at parties at friends of mine, and I'd be talking about it, and they would be all like, "Shut up, you're bumming me out, man." And so for like almost 20 years, I shut up. So, but 3 years ago, when it all came up and hit the fan, that loosened my tongue up again. And so, you lose friends and you make new ones.
Yeah, it's so true though, man. Like, this has been coming on. It didn't come on right away. Like even back under Reagan, things were just starting to get tightened up. And we started losing our freedoms and our liberty and stuff like that. It's just been this slow, methodical. I've spoken to police officers and confronted them with our constitutional rights and actually heard them say, that, we have the Patriot Act now. And my response to that and the way I feel about the Patriot Act is that it's a traitorous document signed by traitors and being enforced by traitors. And that's what infuriates me into this battle. Well, what do you think, man? Like, what can we do to resist this? And do you think there's any hope that we can overcome this?
I think so. I have a good deal amount of faith in people that when it all comes down, people, the good can come out of people. I've seen catastrophes where people have banded together to help one another. So I think that this is going to have a lot of that kind of dynamic as well. It's going to have the opposite in some groups, but I think it's going to have a dynamic that finally something's being done and people are going to rise up, and they're not going to be afraid of the police like they've been conditioned into for so many years. Just in the last 3 years, I remember like when you're driving down the street and the minute that you see a light come on, those lights come on behind you, you feel this excited sense of paranoia. This fear flushes over your body. And, what kind of conditioning is that? Why? Yeah, and we've been conditioned that just the color of the light coming on behind us sends us into fear.
Very observation on that, man. That is a magical perception, in my opinion. That the whole blue lights, how they changed it from red and blue to strictly blue in the middle of the night. There's something there. I'm going to do a show on that, the color blue. It has to tie into the notes and all that. You know what I'm talking about, blue hair, man. You know what I'm saying, man. You're a member of the craft, man. You know about the color blue, bro.
Oh yeah. He does. Oh yeah, that's definitely. I went back to school in 2009 and started taking some courses in psychology, and I started to look at how colors have psychological sort of reactions in people, and so I just kind of ascertained that they were switching these lights over, to induce paranoia. So that you'll make more mistakes, and so they'll have more of a reason to encroach on your rights. I've seen these guys do so many things. All the way to where they just barely brush up against you, maybe at a protest, hoping that you'll, push back so that they can lay hands on you. They instigate things in such subtle ways through body language. I've been watching a lot of these things, and it's just amazing. How police have really mastered a lot of these manipulative methods.
I can
and word ninjas, yeah.
I think it just, you have to know how to dialogue with police, honestly. I've respect. I know I work a job that maybe I may not get the same amount of pay, but I deal with just as much interpersonal BS and bureaucracy as probably like the sheriff's department, even though it's more sophisticated and there's more interpersonal dynamics. But you have to know how to talk to people, and they seem to attract people that don't know how to talk to people. You dig what
yeah, it's a whole new world nowadays, because I grew up in Staten Island. It was a cop town. My partner, the best man at my wedding was a cop. My partner, in my business was cops. But it's just so. First of all, you're never unless you got a badge, you're never in that club. If it comes down to it, it's us against them. But it's so different now. The training is so different now, and the policies are so different now than it was 10 years ago. It's unbelievable. And here in Nevada, when I talk to guys, I have a friend out here who was a former police chief up in California, Northern California. And he talks about how here in this little town, Henderson, Nevada, there's no crime here. There's no crime where I live. This is nothing. But the cops here act like it's Compton. Like when they pull you over, and they shoot people left and right here, Yeah. And it's a new culture, it's a new training, it's a new breeding where it's us against them. They don't socialize with the public. They have no social fear of being ostracized by the public because they only socialize with their own little group of other cops.
Oh yeah.
And the whole thing with the steroids and the testosterone shots and all those supplements, that's a whole new ball game that no one's ever dealt with before. So it's just a recipe for disaster, man, and we're in big trouble.
Well,
I'm sorry. I was listening to somebody talking about how the Portland police force here actually sends over members of our police force over to train with the Israeli Defense Force. Why are they doing that? That's interesting that they would have police officers going over to train. The Israeli Defense Force knows how to put down a population. So naturally, they're going to put these cops in there, and they're going to send them down there to South America, where a lot of these things are happening too, and they're going to get additional training. Yeah. Yeah,
a lot of that too is just those contracts, That I've seen that as well too. You know, even guys I know got these big training contracts to go over to Iraq and stuff like that. All they did was go over to the hotels, and they did like water rescue training in the hotel pool. You know, and got $100,000. You know, and it came back. So you know, it's just unbelievable, really. You know, we're training people in the desert how to do water rescues. I don't even want to get into that because it's too personal. Right. But you know. But there's just so much scamming for the money. You know, when you look at all the money we raised over 9/11, you know, all this Homeland Security, let's donate all this money, let's raise all this money, new taxes. And then you have Katrina, and we can't even get a bottle of water. The people are dying in the streets, you know. So all that money was stolen. There's no doubt the money was stolen.
Oh, yeah.
You know, what does it take? Yeah, you know.
Yeah, it's you know, the advent of all these privatized security forces now. Oh my God, G4S and all these others are there. I mean, these guys are operating outside the boundaries of what law enforcement are bound to. So they can be far more ruthless. And like Mike was saying about Wal-Mart security, they can afford the entourage of attorneys, you know, to untangle the can of worms that those guys create. So,
yeah, so true, man. You know, back when my partner was with NYPD Harbor Aviation, all those guys were like ex-Navy SEALs and stuff like that.
Right.
So one of the
Oh yeah.
So
and
one of the
if you have special forces training and especially in operations, you can get onto a police force with no question.
Oh yeah.
They want you quick.
But the thing is, these guys, they had these little side deals where they would recruit for Blackwater. Back then it was Blackwater. And what they wanted was cops who were divorced, had DUIs, had domestic violence convictions, who got thrown off the force. They wanted those shady cops, the guys who were fit, who were, you know, like to mix it up, you know, but had, you know, dirt on their records, and they were like, you know, loose cannons. They wanted loose cannons is what they wanted.
Oh, and I mean, my ex father-in-law was a Los Angeles County sheriff, and through some of their trainings, I would hear things like he would talk about various things like learning how to turn on the mean gene, you know, that thing, you know, I mean, triggering that mean gene where you just, it's almost, to me, it just appears like a state of insanity, you know, and they just become brutal. And the way I watched police officers attack protesters, it was ruthless. There's stories that I've heard from various protesters. The one that really actually sticks in my mind was a young lady who gave her testimony before a crowd of people. I was live streaming this young lady's testimony. I want to find out her name and talk to her more about it. But she stated that when she was attacked by these group of police officers, and it was a May 1st march, she was grabbed by her hair, thrown onto the ground. Her hair was being ripped out of her head by two different police officers. And the third one came in, kicked her between the legs. They drug her into a doorway, threw her up against the wall, and then one officer grabbed her in her genitals and squeezed until she was screaming. And then he whispered in her ear, "Maybe you won't come to these things anymore." Oh, yeah. And that's creepy. That's really, really creepy. And that infuriated me, you know, to a point to where, you know, sooner or later we just have to stand in their face and hold them accountable. That's just plain and simple.
I guess the fluoride's doing its job.
Yeah.
You know, because remember the Hatfield and McCoys, you know, there used to be vendettas in this country, you know, or in the world. And now it just seems like all the stuff in the chemtrails and the food and the water is doing its job.
Well, the brainwashing, too, because now we're not even allowed to argue about politics or religion. You know, oh, no, don't bring that up. No. Oh.
I like talking about politics and religion, and all my life I was told you don't talk about those things.
Of course not, no.
You know, you might discover something.
Right.
Who knows? So, you know, it's all about just, here, it's almost like the way we used to use televisions to babysit kids. I mean, we know what damage it could do, but here we are, you know, sitting here in front of these televisions as adults now, just being further damaged, you know, and it's, I threw away my TV 3 years ago, and I tell you, my anxiety level has really gone down since then. But I mean, now that I'm involved in this movement, my anxiety level's back up. So, but for completely different reasons.
I hear you, man. Okay, well, we're coming to the end of the show. So I'd like to let everybody leave us with a few words. Is that a whale in the background?
that was Mike blowing his nose. Yeah, that's
Mike
in the background.
Is shooting his spout in the background there. So why don't we start off with Mike Gray, man? What do you want to leave us with tonight, man?
Who, me?
No, the other Mike Gray.
You put me on the spot here. Just everyone just stay calm.
I have a few closing words. Yes, there'll be a man coming along in a suit with a plate, and I would like you to dig deep, stick some money in. No, I'm kidding. A little old-time religion in the form of greenback. I'm just totally kidding. Something to close with. Well, you know, I get a lot of comments on my YouTube videos about solutions, you know, or like what can I do, and it's really hard, you know. People feel isolated, you know. But what people really need to realize is that we really outnumber the controlling forces, the ruling elite, you know, literally hundreds of thousands to one. So if we all just resist just a little bit, there's a compounding effect that will happen, and we can change things for the better. So that's basically what I'd like to close with.
Hey, Mike.
Yeah, man.
Will you be taking calls on your show?
Yeah. Absolutely.
Oh, great.
It's going to make it easier because, you know, then I don't have to think of what to say. I can just interact with the guests. So I would really love it if people would call in. Yes, absolutely.
All right. Well, I'll be one. Josh, how about you? You going to take calls?
Well, I want to produce, like, I just have this crazy avant-garde, like, radio approach, man. If I want to do calls, I want to do it on the fly during the week, like, out of the blue, to get the information out there in a specific sense, at least for the first, like, couple of things, you know. I just have a lot of ideas. We'll see what's going on. You know, Mike Gray, man.
Yeah, okay. All right, cool.
You know what, guys? I'll give you Mike Gray's phone number so you can put it on your caller ID block.
Hey.
You can block his number out.
You and Douglas Dietrich both.
Oh, don't bring up bad. Okay, let's move on. All right. I'll never block you, Mike. Don't worry about that.
Oh, thank you.
Don't worry about that. But I'm going to let Josh and
everyone else block you.
Yeah, let the other guys block you. I got to put up with you. Okay. No, listen, guys. Trust me. I would never have anybody on the show if I didn't think they were contributing. So you guys are all great. I love you all. So we got Josh, want to leave us with anything you want to leave us with?
I have our band's website is bookhouse.bandcamp.com. We also do this archival bootleg project called In the Raw Archives. It's in the raw archives.bandcamp.com, all one word. Stream, no hyphens or anything. Check us out if you want to use our music for a documentary or commercials, promos, or anything. Hit me up. Thank you for letting me speak on the air, and thank you guys for letting me ramble. I appreciate it. God bless.
God bless you guys, man. Thank you, Josh Brookshire from Bookhouse and Bookhouse Bandcamp.
Bookhouse.bandcamp.com.
Right, and good old Mike Bluehair and Joe Freedom we just met tonight. And Mike Bluehair is from Film the Police Portland. He needs your support too, man. He has a YouTube channel and Facebook page. You can get a hold of him. and good old Mike Ray from InfinityHomeplans.com. I love you all, you guys. I want to thank Ann Francis, my producer, who just takes care of everything around. I have no idea how hard these people work. And Cindy Jean-Pierre from CJMarsRadio.com, and Zeta and Scott from Hazy Radio, and Granada Steve from Awake Radio, who's been helping us put together all this back channel stuff, backroom broadcasting equipment, and all the stuff we're doing. Bailey McClelland, who a good friend of mine, who had a loss in her family this week. It was at a funeral all day today. I just want to give a shout out to her. And Amanda from Pacific West Bamboo, who had a little injury. And we have her in our prayers. And other guys, too, in our crew here that I don't want to mention what's going on with them, but other guys here with us that are going through attacks and problems and all kind of struggles. And we're here for you. You want to give me a call, give me a call. And we can help things out.
And Christian Wallace is okay. He emailed me. He's okay.
Well, that's good to hear, man, because Chris is good. But I want Chris to give me a call, too, as well. Just so we know what's going on. So next week we got a nice, fun show with the old. Maybe we can all get together. Me, Mike Ray, and Josh Brookshire, and Blue Hair, and Freedom, and Ann, and Cindy. We'll all get together. We'll meet up on Oak Island, and we'll dig for treasure. And maybe we'll dig up some treasure. We'll find some treasure there, man. Because that's next week's show, and then we got all kinds of stuff coming up.
Can mine be Dogecoin?
What was that?
Can my treasure be Dogecoins?
Yeah, let's do it, man. Yeah.
Okay, man.
All right, guys. Good night, everyone. We'll see you next week. Don't forget, if you like the show, donate to oppermanreport@gmail.com. If you know someone who wants to sponsor and get your commercials on the show, give us a call, man. Let us know. You got a suggestion for a guest or a show or a topic, let us know. We're always happy to hear that. And we got our 1-year anniversary coming up in January, where it'll be 1 year that we've been doing this Friday night show. And a year ago, we were on one little tiny station on Friday nights with a bunch of crazy hillbillies and drunken nutcases and conspiracy theorists and doomsday cultists and all kinds of crazy people, man. And here we are a year later. We're on iHeartRadio. We're on 7 stations, man, Friday Night Live. We got guys like Thomas Sheridan and Josh Brookshire and Mike Bluehair and Joe Freedom and Mike Ray and Cindy Jean-Pierre and Ann Francis, all working together, and Amanda from Pacific West Bamboo, and those beautiful women down there at the New World Mexican Women. And we're all here together, doing this together here, and I can't thank you guys enough. We've come a long way in a year, and it's just amazing, where we're going. And we'll all get there together, and hopefully we'll have some success out of this, and we'll make some good changes. We'll create a platform where we can create some changes, because I've seen what we can do on some local level with politics here, and I think a year from now we can double that and triple that, and I thank you guys all. I love you.
God bless you, man.
Good night, guys.
Always keep pushing, man. Peace, bro.
God bless you.
You are listening to WCJV Digital Broadcasting, Youngstown, New York.